They were trying to buy Blockbuster and put that in somehow. I don't know what they were trying to work out. Didn't end up working.
Blockbuster should have did it.
They should have did it.
I miss going to Blockbuster. Did you ever go to Blockbuster video? I miss like going to Blockbuster. That was like the highlight. Like when your parents were like, "Get in the car, we're going to Blockbuster." We're like, "Yes."
Everybody grabbed their CD.
Everyone picked their favorite.
And then you had to
movie.
stay out of that certain aisle.
Yes.
What about
That's
Blockbuster before CDs?
Well,
Oh, yeah, the
we had to be
VHS.
kind of rewind, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not that.
But yes, and then there was that special aisle that you were not allowed to go
You
down.
weren't allowed to go down that
Special
way.
hour or special room?
Oh, so some of them had
That was
rooms.
mostly family video. They had.
Family Video had
They
a
had the
special
room.
room.
They had a room,
Was it a
man,
room?
like with a curtain. Like, what's
Yeah, Family Video had like a full room.
Oh my gosh,
and
how
you-
embarrassing is that?
Exactly.
Yeah, you come out of the curtain like, whoa.
Yeah. Family
Doing one of
video
these, you know what I
always
mean?
sketch.
I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Real People in Real Estate podcast, where we talk about the real shit and not about real estate. I'm one of your hosts, Brooke Jones, aka the Millennial Agent.
And I am Robert Courtney, subbing for Tyre Nicole.
Hey everybody, I am Nicole Pay, and today we have the founder of an all-in-one marketing engine called Connection, as well as commercial and multi-family apartment investor, Mr. Justin Barton. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Super
Good to be
excited
here.
to have you. So I don't
So
even
am
know. I know, yeah, right. So you are a newbie to podcast. You said that. Are you nervous?
No.
Did we kind of
I
warm?
don't get any nervous
I know, did we
vibes.
warm it up?
He didn't even read the email. He was like, I'm
That is
good.
true.
Going in
Yeah.
cold, man.
Came
Going
in cold.
Yeah, I love it. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what is the first thing that comes to mind when someone says, who is Jeff? Justin, sorry.
No worries. That's a great question. So, I would like to think people would think that I'm someone that's entrepreneurial, that's started off, when I was 22 years old, still with a business, and been someone that's improved that over the years with a couple businesses, and then also grown into other areas as far as personal. Like I like to golf, I like to cook, I like to have fun, I like to joke around, and just also network with people. Like I like to walk into a room and I never met 100 people and walk away knowing I met 90 of them. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
So you definitely like to network. Like you like to put your...
It is one of the relaxing parts of my life, is being able to go and travel and meet people and walk into scenarios that I've never been in and just say, hey, how you doing? Good to meet you, and what do you do, and that sort of thing, and getting to know more about other people's story. Mm-hmm. And that kind of helps me, like, also feel like impactful. Because if I get to know someone and then what their goals are, also looking for a way to kind of, how can I help them with maybe what I know or who I know. So I like to also be someone that just doesn't network but also connects people. And so that's a big deal to me.
Connector.
I say that's
Yeah.
how you got the name of your business.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Did that have anything to do with it? Like, was it just
No,
like
but
an
I'm going to
aha
say
moment?
on this show that it did.
Yes. Today
Ride
you're
that-
going to
ride
say
that
yes,
wave.
it did.
You
So-
just go with it.
So you said you got into the business how long ago?
So,
Or when you were 22, you said?
Yeah, I started my first business when I was 22 years old. It was in telecommunications.
Okay.
So we kind of like a little classic story. Started it by myself with another person. I have my sun porch in a house I rented, and then we grew that to a business up until 2017 that was across 6 states, 100 people.
Wow.
Had a lot of employees, a lot of headaches. But there was always water in this cup. I'll tell you that. But
I was gonna say, being so young and having a successful business, how did you even, solve the issues within the business being so new as an entrepreneur?
it's another great question. So you just kind of just go with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't take no for an answer. Don't settle. Don't just listen to the first advice you get, especially if people aren't invested in you. So always try to find out more or push more. And then, there's a lot of hours in the school of hard knocks, right? People go to college and get a degree that way, or you don't. I actually had to drop out twice because, I grew up poor, you know what I mean? So we just didn't have a lot of money. And it's like, well, I got to get a job. I'm 18, got to move out. And so, and I was like, I'm going to start my own business because then That's like the mindset.
What were
like,
you thinking?
I won't have to work for anyone. It's like, wow, I got to work 10 times harder now.
Yeah.
But as you go and you grow through that, you don't just go through it, you grow through it, right? You get to be in a place where a lot of information is out there, especially, going back 2008, we didn't, technology wasn't where it is today. You know what I mean? If I'd have had now what I had then, oh my God, right? It'd been it's a little simpler, but learning from people, and then also, coordinating and also understanding that, if you want to, how do I say this? But if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, go with someone, right? So when you grow a business, it's about adding value to especially employees. And that time was getting to understand like their needs and wants and goals, right? And hopefully that they can be in that alignment. And working in that industry, it was like the telecommunication industry at that time. It's a lot different now, but back then it was like there was the restaurant business. I don't know if anyone's ever been in food service, how difficult that is, right? But telecommunications was like the next step down. Like it was, that in depth. Like we were up in the morning early. If it was cold, it didn't matter. Rain didn't matter. People driving on roofs. Installing TV for people. So there was a lot of protocol that went in, and safety and compliance and regulation. So working through that was a big learning curve for me, and it taught me a lot of stuff that I can apply still today.
Did you know any of that going into it, or was it something you just went off the
none
whim?
of that. I was like, I worked for a company. I was like, I can do this, and so I bought my own truck, and it was like I really had the goal of like working for myself. Like I just wanted to work for myself, and all of a sudden, because of that networking with people, they're like, well, how many more, at those times it was like different jobs, so you would have work orders, and they'd be like, how many more can you do? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess we can hire people, and I can pay them something. I don't know how this works. And, if I look back and I'm like, there's no way I would have thought then it would have got to where it was in 2017.
So that was during the time when the big companies was starting to outsource a lot of the work.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody really understood this model. And it was like, how are you getting so much done? And there's all these companies with just stickers being plastered on their trucks.
Pretty much.
And I remember those days.
Yeah.
So did you come from entrepreneurial stock? Like was mom, dad, anybody in the family?
That's a great question. So my mother, no, she was a hardworking, wonderful woman, but worked at the same job. I think she retired, then she went back. Because she's just hardworking in that sense. But she did one of probably the most phenomenal jobs out there, especially during the last pandemic. There was worked in the hospital, registering people in and taking care of them. And she did that my whole life. So it was kind of a funny story to that real quick. It was like I was like, you're like, you ever go to the hospital? I'm like, no. And they're like, why not? I'm like, I guess if I go there and someone's arguing with my mom, I don't know if I can take that. But I don't know if I can.
Might be a problem.
I might have to go like Belmont, or drive up to Detroit and go to that hospital versus Monroe. You know what I mean? So, but no, wonderful.
So she
woman.
was local, like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so like did everyone know your mom worked at the hospital?
Oh yeah. She was 30 years. You know what I mean? And then she ended up retiring. I was like, what are you gonna do? She goes, I might go back for a couple days a week. I'm like, what?
I feel like every retiree says that. Like, I'm not ready to retire.
You know why though, right?
Why?
Because they don't want to be by their husbands.
No, even men.
I was not expecting you to say that. I was like, go get bored.
That's real life. Like, if you talk to someone who's worked at a job for 40 years, and they're getting ready to retire, and they go home for a couple of weeks, they're trying to get back to
They're like, what can I do?
That's so different
It's
though for
very
our
normal.
generation though, because because there's so many remote jobs and entrepreneurs work from home. Like I'm
It's
with this
different
man
now.
every day.
Who works at a job where they're in the same place every day for 30 years now? Like, it's not.
That's not. It's not common.
no more.
Yeah.
But
So.
back then,
Right.
I mean, that makes sense. Okay, because I was not expecting you to say that at all. I was like, we're bored. What are we going to do?
It's the realest people in real estate.
I guess so. All right.
So, I couldn't help but notice on your Instagram, there's a lot of food.
Yes.
Is
You're a
that
foodie.
somebody else cooking, or is that you?
Well,
He said it was him. He's a cook.
He said he
that's
loves
me.
to cook.
That's me. Now, there sometimes is some Photoshop because of the glare. No, but that's really my food. I don't buy that, put it on a plate, and just take a picture of it. But no, I actually enjoy cooking, and I've tried to improve that skill over the past couple of years.
Nice.
And when we were under the pandemic, where it was like shelter in place or whatever, it was like I got to learn. Now's the best time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we all need to eat. So, I started working on it then, recipes and stuff like that, and was able to kind of get better and better, over the past couple of years. And people ask me, they're like, so I'm like, it actually relaxes me.
Yeah.
Like,
Really?
because I don't have to think.
Oh, I
Did you know how to cook before the pandemic?
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, yeah.
Well,
I mean, no, there's
No, that was a
something
lot more
different.
It was a lot more
Levels.
There's a totally different with like preparing a meal, like a full meal, and just like putting something together. I put stuff together. Like he prepares entrees and meals. So there is a very
there is.
big difference
I
in
think
that.
You would follow directions. I think we create our own recipe.
Yeah.
You do.
I do and I get some inspiration from Instagram. So I'm on Instagram, and I'm like, that looks good. We could try this.
Yeah.
And then I think I did something the other day, and they're like, really? I'm like, don't knock it till you try it, man. It was like some pork chops with peaches and some blue cheese, and everyone's like, what in the world? I'm like, try it.
Oh, this is
It's
like
got this nice balsamic
he
sauce.
is on a different
And I'm
level.
like-
Will Pay. You need to stop
But
your
I
game
almost feel
up.
challenged. Like when I
Yeah.
see their posts, I'm like, I gotta know if they can really pull this off.
Right.
Nor can I, right? So
Is there
no.
a future in it?
I don't know. I mean, if I ever get to the point where I can have that like retirement mindset, I think I would be like, because some people are like, you should open up a restaurant. I'm like, do you know how difficult that is?
Yeah, it's a lot of food.
It's not that cut and dry.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't know if I could cook small plates or something like that, like on
Right.
Thursdays. You know what I
Right,
mean? And that's
right.
it.
You could be a private chef.
There you go. There you go.
So what's your favorite dish that you've made so far?
That's a good one.
Oh, that is a great question. So I feel like put on the spot on that one. No.
I don't know how you beat pork chops and like I couldn't even imagine pork chops and peaches and what'd you say, blue cheese?
Blue cheese
Couldn't
with
even
a
imagine
balsamic sauce.
That combination together. So I could only imagine some of the
It
stuff.
was my best one yet. I'll say that. Now, my favorite one though is, and a few friends of mine will agree that they came over and we had dinner, and they're like, I'm like, there's no cheese in this, and they're like, you're lying to me. I'm like, no, trust me, there's no cheese in this. And it tasted, they're like, bro, I could taste some cheese. I'm like, trust me, it's just the sauce, and it's the way you cook the chicken. Yeah, you bake it, and so it turned out really good. So that was like my favorite one to make.
Yeah.
But the favorite one to eat is the pork chop one.
pork chop. But what was your favorite one to make? Like what was it though?
It was like a chicken with some basil, and then I have to look back, but had a special like a sauce. So really, what you do is you bake. I bake chicken, I put avocado oil in there in the pan with it, and so when it bakes, it like saturates it. And you season it, salt, pepper, and then some other seasonings. Some garlic salt, stuff like that, and then. If you want to add some other flavor, maybe oregano or your own spices, mix it up a little bit, and but overall, like it comes out really tender, and that's like when you cut into it, and you can just like take a butter knife through it, and you're like, this is good chicken. This is where it's
See,
at.
when I think about great chefs and like people who really embrace like that culinary world, there was a guy talking about clothes, like suits.
Okay.
And like, I don't know if you know about fashion, but when it comes to fashion, like there's people who style people, and they'll do like these outside of the box combinations where like the tie looks like it doesn't match the handkerchief and then the socks. And
Right. Yeah.
if you talk to an expert stylist or somebody that's been doing it for years, they're like, oh my God, it's just an incredible combination. Look how the fabrics match it's like they see it through a different lens.
Yes.
And I feel like chefs are very much the same, where it's like us normal people can't even understand your brains and how you're coming up with
Not at all.
these recipes. And like, why does ranch make sense with peach? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's a real thing. Like I'm not a blue cheese fan at all.
Oh, I do like blue cheese.
I do not.
So
like
then
blue
you'll
cheese
love this,
at
but-
all.
but-
Stuffed olives with blue cheese.
Okay, all right, that's
yeah, see, like
no, like I like stuffed olives with jalapeno and garlic. Those are my.
okay.
Isn't that what we get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got preschool.
I got preschool taste buds. Like
you really?
they are so underdeveloped. Like they do not work at all. I blame my mom though.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing
She deprived me from food.
Well,
Don't say that.
Listen,
He's just
Pat,
kidding.
he's like-
Pat Collins, Trish Collins, you know what I'm talking about. I ate spaghetti for my first 7 years of life.
Well, I can't lie.
do you like
because
spaghetti
actually,
now?
like,
Not that much. Not like I did back
does
then.
that sound like home? When anytime we have other people watch our kids, I'm like, "What'd you guys eat for dinner?" And they're like, "Spaghetti," and I'm like,
I'm so basic. I'm so
like,
basic.
Okay, well, there's. But I will say, like, one thing,
Yeah.
like you talked about COVID, like learning how to
Yeah.
cook and stuff. And one thing that we did is he again can take stuff out of the fridge and just make it into a full course, like leftovers and everything, like remake
Yeah.
it into a full meal. And that was one thing.
Repurposing
Skill.
food.
Yeah,
Yeah,
repurpose.
that's skill.
And that was one thing that we did during COVID is all of our kids. So at the time we only had 3, but they had to pick one day of the week that they got in the kitchen with dad.
That's awesome.
And so now, like our 11-year-old, I will wake up to a full breakfast. Like she makes pancakes from scratch. And
I
I'm
need
like,
to send April over there.
yeah, I'm telling you, like it was like the best thing ever. Is like now she will cook breakfast for the entire household. So I love that because I was like, I would say like I wasn't deprived food, but my grandma lived with us, so she cooked.
Okay. Yeah.
So I had an Italian grandma, and she cooked, and I came home, and it was in the fridge, and that's just I never was taught that.
I can relate
Nor
to that
do
growing
I
up.
even, nor do I even enjoy it. So the fact that you
Like-
enjoy it, like,
Well, and to that point, so it's funny you mention that because when I was a kid, that's what we got.
Mm-hmm.
My mom worked, and so my dad, but then we got off the bus, we went right to grandma's house. We
Yeah.
lived close, and so my mom never cooked because
Same.
it was like an insult to my grandmother. She's like, "I make dinner." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay." And when
That
you're
was
a
her
kid, you're
job.
like, "This is what you do. You go there, you do your homework, and then you eat, and then
Yeah.
that's it. That's how it went." And so I didn't even have to learn it was like sandwiches and Pop-Tarts, okay? As a kid, you know what I mean?
ramen
That's like-
noodles for a long time during college.
And then
I
when
could
you got
spice
older, I was
some
like,
ramen
pizza.
noodles.
Right.
Don't
like
play with
dishes
Cheese and
that.
pizza, man. There we go. We're good.
I love it. So tell us about family. Like
Yeah.
kids, no kids.
No kids. Nope. So that's.
You by
Siblings?
yourself?
I got siblings. Yeah, I got 2 brothers and a sister, and they all live pretty close to me, which is nice. Well, my brother's in Columbus now.
Oh, he's in
Columbus.
Ohio.
I know.
My brother was in Columbus for a bit too.
But he hasn't switched over. He hasn't.
Okay,
he
good
hasn't
for him.
became.
Yeah.
One of
Michigan,
those.
Michigan,
He's
yeah.
still.
Then it's okay then. It's
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I keep now. His wife.
That's it.
We've
We're a
learned to
house
love
toy.
her. No, I mean she's a great person. Ashley, if you ever hear this, I totally love you. So, but we still gotta. It's been
House
a
divided.
glorious 3 years for us. It's been
It
a
has
glorious
been.
3 years,
Yeah.
and
Riding the wave.
I don't know if you guys. So I am closer to Toledo than
Yeah,
maybe-
yeah.
So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but they get really passionate about
Oh,
their
yeah.
football.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all, none of you ever played there. Just so we're on the same page. Like, I didn't play there, obviously. None of you guys played there, more obvious. But, the passion is just so strong. Like the hate mail that I get.
I believe it.
Like I
We're a house
posted.
divided.
Are you? Okay.
My mom.
Oh, I was
Ohio
like,
State. No, not
I was like,
us. Not.
Not me.
none of my business.
My mom, my grandma used to hang Buckeye necklaces around our house for the Michigan Ohio State game.
Okay.
Like literally, like Buckeye necklaces would be hanging on the doors, and I'm like, who does that?
Well, and I guess this maybe gives away my age bracket a little bit, but when I was younger, we always won, and so, but now the younger generation, they're like us,
State.
Yeah.
and so I get that because they're like, we always win. I'm like, well, technically it wasn't always like that. And if you look at the whole history, we still got you beat by a lot still, so it's still kind of funny. But but yeah, that's kind of a tangent. But yeah, I have a brother or 2 brothers and a sister. So.
And what's your relationship like with them? Are they all entrepreneurs as well, or
No, so my brother and his wife, the one in Columbus, they started their own business recently, which is awesome. I'm very happy for them. My other brother, he works at a factory, and then my sister, I want to say, I don't know if she's I know she works for a veterinarian. She loves animals. I don't know if she became a veterinarian or if she's still in that process, but I think that's one of her goals. So,
Nice.
And she also just had 2 kids, so I'm an uncle. So I'm
Oh,
yep.
congratulations.
Yeah, and then my nephew, he's getting older where I'm like, we can start going to Tigers games pretty soon. You know what I mean? So that's like where I get to be the fun uncle.
The Funkle.
Funkle, you're the Funkle. You
say,
got
hey,
your Funkle shirt.
We're gonna go hang out. You know what I mean? And this is
Yeah.
gonna be cool. So, but right now she's like, why don't you do it now? I'm like, yeah, he's 2. You know what I mean?
yeah. You can't take a 2-year-old to a Tigers game.
No, you can't. Well,
we've tried. It just doesn't work out.
You guys are parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as an uncle, I'm like, I don't want none of that.
You end up at the
know,
Ferris
that's right.
wheel for most of the game.
What is the age when you can actually start taking them? Like 9 or 10?
When you can,
Well, like when you want to.
you decide. Oh, well, you want
when they're
to.
not bored.
When you want
Yeah.
to meet comfortably, I gotta say it's like 6 or 7. It's like,
I was
okay.
gonna say like 12, 13. Because
I know, I'm like probably
even
9,
taking
10.
our 11-year-old sometimes, like she's like, "Can we go get more ice
Yeah,
ice cream?" And
if you take them at an age before they're ready, it's not about the game.
No,
It's
you're just
about
having
them.
fun
You're
at
just
that point, yeah.
it's about spending money.
it's about spending money and
It's like how
there's-
much will you end up spending
and
on
how
that
much can they
outing?
eat? Like all of a sudden they can like they're an endless pit of eating everything, and I'm like, you don't
Yeah.
eat this much at home, like.
Unless it's a Lions game. If you take them to a Lions
Yes.
game,
Now
you
that's
take
a
them
different-
lot
Well,
younger.
now
Yeah.
they're good.
Now they're good.
Yeah.
So
No, we were taking our kids to Lions games when they weren't good either, but because Avery, her first
yeah,
Lions game,
yeah,
she was
she was like
1 or
4.
2. No, she was like 2.
Oh, okay.
So her first Lions game was like 2, and she's 7 now. And now they get mad at us when we don't take them.
I bet.
Now we're at the point where
Well,
like
yeah, they're winning.
You set yourself up.
Yeah, I would say
They-
you spoiled
we
them. Yeah.
They're like, hey, I'll put them
they
tickets.
get a
Like, I bought
little-
them
Yeah.
tickets, $300 a piece,
They
man.
get
You
a
better chip in a little bit.
little
you know?
upset with us. Like we can't do that anymore. So
That's funny.
So after telecommunications, did you
Yeah.
guys end up selling the business?
We did. Yeah,
Okay,
we-
what made you say? What made you guys sell?
Great question. So there was an industry shift where up until that point we kind of forecasted it and we got it right, which is always a good thing. Sometimes you can forecast and get it wrong. You know, it's like selling Bitcoin 10 years ago. It wasn't a smart idea. Like, this is never going to get to anything. Well,
Yeah.
here we are. $67,000 a coin. But anyway, so to your point, we forecasted, we got it right. The technology was changing in that industry to where people prior to that were getting, TV installed in their homes and multiple rooms because they had kids, you know what I mean? And then we noticed like mobile's going to start taking this
Yeah.
over, and we see Netflix and Hulu, and then they were just getting more and more powerful. Then when Amazon really, they didn't even have, I don't think they had Prime, but they didn't have the TV Prime. They just had Amazon Prime, and we're like, this is going to get really competitive. And it's like, you know what? Now it's just better time. If somebody wants to buy, we're willing to sell.
that was in you said 2017.
Yeah.
So I could see like when Netflix started, how that would probably have been like a little bit of a trigger. Like
Yeah.
we're moving into a different.
Well, and they tried. So we were involved with like Dish Network and DirecTV, and they all tried to get like at that time Dish Network was trying to buy Blockbuster, and that's what kind of gave it away.
Like video, like block,
Oh, yeah.
like the video store we used to go to.
Yep, they were trying to buy Blockbuster and put that in somehow. I don't know what they were trying to work out. Didn't end up working.
Blockbuster should have did it.
They should have did it.
They
man.
missed the boat.
I miss
Yeah,
going to
they-
Blockbuster. Did you ever go to Blockbuster video? I
Yeah.
miss like going to Blockbuster. That was like the highlight. Like when your parents were like, "Get in the car, we're going to Blockbuster." We're like, yes.
Everybody grabbed their CD.
Everyone picked their favorite.
And then you had to
movie.
stay out of that certain aisle.
Did
Yes.
you? What about
That's certain-
Blockbuster before CDs?
Well,
Oh,
I remember,
yeah,
I remember
the
you had to be
VHS.
kind and rewind. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
I wasn't.
We
I'm not
completely
that.
kind of why. But yes, and then there was that special aisle that you were not allowed to go
You
down.
weren't allowed to go down that
Special
way.
hour or special room?
Oh, some of them had
That was
rooms.
mostly family video. They had
Family Video had
They
a
had the
special
room.
room.
They had a room,
Was it a
man, like
room?
with a curtain. Like, what's
Yeah, Family Video had like a full room.
Oh
that-
my gosh,
and
how
you-
embarrassing is that? To this-
Exactly.
Yeah, you come out of the curtain like, whoa.
Yeah, Family
Do
Video
one of
was
these, you know what I
always
mean?
sketch.
Yeah.
Family Video was so sketch. Like
He's like, never mind.
Yeah.
We need to bring
They-
Blockbuster back.
I know, cause I'll never forget. Like, and then like they had all the candy by the
Yep,
checkout, and you
yep.
were like, "Oh, let me stack up."
why would you always see a family video in like some rural area where like 300 people live there,
Bro.
and there's a family video there?
And they own those
And they
buildings
own-
too.
yeah,
Like we found out later, like we got a great business plan.
It's like a
here.
house that was turned into a
family
store.
video?
Like
Yeah,
what?
it was a general store. And we're like, it's going to turn into a family
Yeah,
video.
that's so crazy.
It's like Dollar Trees, man. Like you see this mound, you're like, in 3 weeks, it's going to be a Dollar
Correct.
General. You know what I'm
like,
saying?
how do you target random rural areas as the place where you're
Because
going
there's
to?
nothing
Yeah.
to do but watch movies. Like
Exactly.
there's like you know where we live. Like what can you
Yeah.
do?
There's more. That was a cover up for a different
You
operation.
think so?
It is no doubt.
Because I'm like, there's nothing to do. Like
Yeah.
let's go to Family Video.
I got $1 million and I'm going to invest in random rural places, hoping that people go and buy videos. Like, yeah, it does.
Well, it worked
And now
for
we're
a
all safe
while.
schools.
yeah, exactly.
And now, yeah. So once you saw that shift, like it totally makes
Yeah.
sense. But I think like Netflix would have been like the big thing.
It was, yeah. And then just you can, and then the other thing too is you could tell like when corporations start to, pretty soon people just run out of ideas, so they start making ideas up, right? And you're like, well, we want this thing called NPS, which is Net Promoter Score, which is like grading you on your conduct and stuff like that. And people are going to houses, and we have enough things working against us, right? And it's like, well, did he do all this stuff? I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, like who do you think we're paying here?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you want 3 of these done a day. These
yeah.
houses are huge.
Yeah, just say
go
you
over
want me to leave without saying you want me to leave.
like, just say you don't want to pay me no more.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right,
It's fine.
exactly.
And then but we just, between that and then the industry shift, it was like, you know what, it's time. So we actually transitioned, right, which was awesome deal because we had already a business relationship due to networking through a company called Assurian. And so
Yeah.
at that time they were transitioning to repairing cell phones.
I literally just filed a claim yesterday.
Listen.
with Asurion.
We pay that $20.
We pay that monthly payment, and they have repaired iPads. We have a TV that's being repaired.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely have. It's been worth it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll just send you. Can I say son? Come in. We'll just send you a new TV. I'm like,
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey.
that's not like I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
And you can keep the old.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let you keep the old one, and they're like, "We'll send you the same quality or better." And I was like, "For that amount of money, like for what we've paid for our TV, like that's
They have.
not."
I've noticed that there's been a significant shift in what they ask you, and because they used to squeeze you hard to
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure that you actually had something wrong. And
Yeah.
I feel
Probably
like
because
now
of
it's
Amazon.
like-
Because Amazon.
Amazon changed. They changed.
Amazon did change
The game.
the world.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
Google started it, and then Amazon was like,
Amazon.
I'll take it from
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. They
Have a
took it to an entirely different
Because
level.
I think all we had to do was send a video of our TV. The iPads we just took in, but they just like, can you send a video and a couple
Yeah.
picture? And I was like,
It's
sure.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
like, here, we're done. And I'm like,
I answered
Okay,
like
send a
6
couple more
questions.
videos and give me another TV.
it was like worth it. We pay like what, $20 a month, and they fixed iPads. I will say I
Covers
was
all electronics.
all electronics, but
Yeah.
even the Apple Watch, I will say what I did think was impressive was they didn't try to just take our money. They're like, it's not worth us fixing.
Right.
The Apple Watch got smashed. It was dropped.
Yeah.
And I was appreciative of that because they're like, it will cost you more for us to fix it. So that is a credible, company when it comes to that.
Oh, yeah,
So,
for sure.
so is that the company that bought you guys or?
No, so
Oh.
no, we were working with them. So
You were working with them.
Yeah, so we had a contract directly with them, and then what happened is that they ended up purchasing a franchise, You Break I Fix, and so it was basically like, well, we'll take it from here, and we're like, sounds good, no worries, you know what I mean? And so there was
Yeah.
a transition there, and I was like, well, what can we get into now, right? And so then we got into some investments, which led to in that space, and formed a company that we work with some investors on, and was able to kind of grow that portfolio for them and buy like multifamily and apartments around the city of Detroit, which were in tough positions because of either tired landlords or other things. And we were able to go in there with a nice pro forma and keep rents. I don't know how familiar people are with that process, but if you're unfamiliar, the pro forma is like a way to evaluate a property and say, we project this and this is what we want to do with it. But what's always frustrated me is, well, we think we can get $1,200 for rent. I'm like, on a 1-bedroom in Northwest Detroit, like going around 700, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
let's keep it at 700. People need to stay in their homes. Okay.
Yeah.
We need to improve the property, and then for the longevity, keep people,
Yeah.
the tenants happy and growing that for both them and us. And it's been a good model, and it's worked really well because we were able to go in there and really advance that through after obviously after COVID there was a period there, and then but we were able to take that and kind of grow that to benefit the community too, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And,
because rent out here is actually absolutely insane.
Yeah. for sure.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Detroit is becoming really overpriced, and it's moving the people out of the city, and they're getting really discouraged.
You gotta have I think a good balance, right? So I think that there's some areas that have needed improvement, right? Like the downtown areas have to we have to get somewhere. You know what I mean? Like otherwise we'll just never get anywhere. But in other areas of the city, it's like so. Having a jump from 7 to 1,000 is like, whoa, that's pretty significant. So,
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like there's the Detroit model, unfortunately, has always outpaced the actual salary and price point of the people that's actually there. So it's like we have a vision of what we want. We have the aesthetic. We have all of the investors who come in, and then they have this idea of where they believe the market is, and then the rest of us are trying to play catch up because we're absolutely not there yet. I think we will definitely get there, but I think it's always under.
You do think so?
Yeah, for sure. Like I think it'll balance out. Like everything always, the market always balances eventually, but I just feel like the price points and the people always outpace where we actually are. And that's not just with property. Like that's with hospitality, that's with clothes, shopping, like the whole 9 yards.
Well, and to have a very fluid conversation about that is to look at like 2000, right? We've seen 2000 and what occurred with the bubble, and then also with some other activity there in 2001, right? But we've seen a hike. And it always takes about 2 years for it to catch up. And unfortunately, being in the the middle class or the what I call workforce class, right, is like we're going to experience that.
Yeah.
And so I think we're in the same position now. And growing in that space, to your point, Robert, is it's vital, but also there has to be, like I always say, have difficult conversations up front. Not later, right? So I rather have a difficult conversation with a group of people that says, yeah, we're not going there. Like that's just not realistic. I mean, we can put any number on a spreadsheet, but that's not what we're here to do. You know what I mean? We're here to, and then also being a benefit to the community doesn't look like saying, well, hey, hopefully you can pay it. Yeah. That doesn't look good.
Right.
You know what I mean? We want to be able to say like, hey, like Detroit is on that renaissance, and I think it's going to get there. I mean, we see a lot of money being put into the city downtown, and we see some growth happening there. And I think that if it continues to go widespread, we'll be in good shape. Probably 2030, right? I think that's realistic. 2030.
I was like doing the math in my head. I'm like, where are we at right now? 6 years. I mean, it took us a while to get where we were. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to grow where we need to go is gonna be even. A constant reevaluation, in my opinion.
100%.
Which is worth, I think, 3 cents. But
I think the weird thing is, and I know I don't have a mic, but it always starts with the most famous sports team.
You think so?
You're not wrong.
I keep saying that. You think so? Yeah.
Once the Lions started doing good, everything else started to transition.
Well, it generates a lot of activity. Look, we had the draft.
We had the draft
here,
right.
and
it was the largest record-breaking draft.
750,000 people.
It was
were
amazing
here.
Down there.
That's
with
just beautiful.
No issues. Let's even put that on.
Right.
Zero issues.
Zero.
Which there might have been some that we didn't hear about.
But none we heard of.
None we heard of. Yeah. And we were down there, and the atmosphere was hype. Well, it was amazing.
I don't know about anyone else here, but I love being downtown.
Love it.
I don't feel unsafe. I don't feel anything like that, and so it's a good environment. I go to Chicago once a year, and I always kind of look at like Chicago's just different, but I still love downtown Detroit. I love walking around, and now we got a bunch of other things coming in. Now we got the Q line and all that stuff now being very active, and but yeah, to your point, I have a business partner. This is a funny story. So we got into business together in the where we're not going to talk about, but we're investment, and so we're working together. And he's from San Francisco area. So I grew up also a Niners fan. Okay, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Steve Young. Okay, like don't hold it against me, but
we'll let you pass on this one.
You know what I mean? It was just a great era for them too. No, but so he is a Niners fan, and he's like, he got season tickets, so he invites me out there. And watching the game, beautiful stadium out there, and that's that same year. So that was the end of 2022 or something. In 2023, the Lions ended up playing them in the NFC Championship, and he's like, "You're coming out, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So he gets first dibs. The way his season tickets work is he gets first pick. So he picked, we're row 8, 25-yard line. And I'm watching the game from the stadium, man. I'm like, this is
I wish our
and I'm on the
tickets
Lions
worked
side,
like
too.
that.
I've got the blue on, man. There's like a blue wave going. It's nuts. And I remember telling him, we're sitting there, and I could see, like, the tension was sinking in at halftime. And we were up. We were up. I mean, I was getting the eye. They were looking at me like... And I'm like, wait a minute, there are gangs on here. What's some of the things I should look for? Like, is blue well, no matter right now. Blue is a bad color here.
Blue's your color. You're wearing it today.
And so I looked at him. I'm like, just so you know, if we're up by this much at the end of the third quarter, I'm going to act like I'm going to the bathroom. I'll meet you in the car. You know what I mean? Because Lions fans might not make it out of this stadium if we win. Because I don't know if you guys know the funny history about the Niners, but they have struggled in NFC championships and Super Bowls in the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. They lose either one or the other.
Yeah.
And so the tension in that, like...
And then to be against the Lions of all teams.
Right. And then they're looking at me, I'm like, I'm just glad we made it here.
Right.
Like,
We're just happy to be here.
Yeah.
When they asked me in August, one of my golf coaches at... great people there at I think it's B Golf Academy now. They're great. If you ever need golf lessons, awesome people.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk to you about that in the after hours.
Yeah, they're wonderful coaches. I mean, they could teach me to hit the ball straight in 230 plus yards. I'm happy.
Yeah.
And so, but we were talking. They're like, "So what do you think?" And I was like, "Listen, man. Here's the rules. If the Lions have a winning season, win the division, and make the playoffs, I'm calling that as good as a Super Bowl." And people could disagree with me, but it was so long before we ever even had a winning season, before we ever won a division, and then we even won a playoff game.
And we had at-home advantage. Like, the games
Twice.
at home. Like, they were... You could...
And who thought the Stafford thing was going to happen, right?
Right.
Wasn't that pretty cool? I mean,
Yeah.
I thought convenient. No, I'm just kidding.
Aren't we playing them? Aren't we playing him again? The season opener is against him again, and it's a Sunday night game. So that's going to be...
Gotta go to that
crazy.
one. Gotta go to
That's
that
going to
one.
be even more crazy. So...
But yeah, Detroit,
Well,
it's a beautiful story with them. So
We should probably wrap up.
Yes.
I think we got some RP, some real producer questions.
Yeah, so you have a partnership with Real Producers.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, how's that going?
Fantastic. They're wonderful. I've known Tara for years back in 2020, and her and her husband, been wonderful to work with.
Good.
So
Yeah. Have you been to any of their events?
I have. I was at the one actually in Detroit. So that was a good one. Can't remember the name of the facility right now, but it was like
It was the
Brewing?
the brewer?
Brewing
Brewery.
company.
Yeah.
Brewing company.
I remember they had a lot of barrels. It was pretty cool setup
I think
there.
it was the brewing company, yeah.
So how did you hear of Real Producers?
So I actually came across them in 2020 and started working with them when we transitioned out of that telecom. So
Okay.
yeah, we had a little small franchise there, photography thing that we did, and we partnered with them for real estate, and it was good working with both of them there, or her whole team, I should say. So, and then when we started real estate investment, like, I really don't need to, And then but when I did this with Connection, I was like, hey, I'm back. How you been? You know what I mean? And they're always just wonderful people to work with. So
Awesome.
Good.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Justin, for being here with
Time
us.
flew.
I know, it does
awesome.
fly. It always does when we start talking. And we will have some after hours that we will record.
Great.
And talk a little bit more, especially about our Detroit Lions, because we
Yeah.
could talk forever about that. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Brooke, you want to close us out?
Thank you guys for tuning back into the Real Estate Bone Real Estate Podcast. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. All right, so golf lessons.
Open that door. Holy moly.
My daughter is